The suspect in the shooting of two National Guard members near the White House has been identified as RAHMANULLAH LAKANWAL, a 29-year-old Afghan national, according to U.S. media. Lakanwal, who served in the Afghan army alongside U.S. Special Forces for 10 years, opened fire and critically wounded two National Guards. Giving information on the shooting, U.S. President Donald Trump has said that the suspect was also shot and is currently hospitalized. Reports suggest Lakanwal arrived in the U.S. in September of 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome, a program designed to resettle Afghan nationals who aided U.S. troops. He was granted asylum in April of 2025. There are no reports of known criminal history so far of him. In response, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services have announced a halt to processing immigration requests for Afghan nationals. As authorities continue their investigation, the motive behind the shooting remains unclear, though terrorism is among the potential leads. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has called for a thorough review of Afghan immigrants who have entered the United States during the previous Biden administration. Now for this discussion, we welcome Shruti Das Gupta. She's an international affairs expert, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Shruti, for joining us again. Good to see you. Shruti, looking at this now, how might this incident at the White House shooting influence the Afghans' images who were even brought to U.S. as allies because they helped U.S. force in Afghanistan? How do you think this will affect their reputation and their image moving forward?
Well, from what I understand is that now every Afghani immigrant is going to have a scanner on them. The security agencies are going to be combing through their personal private documents as well as their public conversations, their social media, all of that, just so to ensure that no radical has slipped in under the guise of being a helpful aid to military during the Taliban situation in Afghanistan. So every Afghani is now going to feel insecure. And the motive behind the killing cannot be understood clearly. It could be just somebody who's lost all sense of right and wrong. It can also be some form of intifada, where he's radicalized enough to believe that he does need to kill just about everybody in uniform, and unjustified and unclear as of now. But what we do know is that he did chant Allahu Akbar before he did attack those two people. So there is some form of religious piety attached to his actions, at least in his mind. Whether it turns every ally into a prospective suspect or a prospective attacker is something that we will have to go look very closely at. But this particular shooting has justified Donald Trump's actions of deploying National Guard in the United States on his own American soil to protect a basic infrastructure, normal civilian people, because the police seem incapable of doing so, and the amount of radicalism as well as the amount of illegal immigrants is so large that the crime rates are spiking through the roofs, and so is every other possible law and order situation being deteriorated to the lowest level.
Right, and as you rightfully mentioned, that this has given Trump a reason to continue on in his immigration crackdown. In what ways could this U.S. domestic security concern and anti-immigrant narratives, how do you think this also affects broader geopolitical strategies of a Trump administration now, especially now that this has unfolded, this incident?
Well, just a few hours ago, I think before this incident, he was saying that he would welcome, at a conference, he would welcome skilled labor to come work and then teach Americans how to do production related jobs, give them skills, skill up America so that American workers are able to get jobs again. So he's kind of, I think, sitting on the fence when he's realizing that he cannot do without foreign labor. But and his visa policies and his immigration policies are not very pro-production, they're not very pro-capitalism, they're not very pro-America. But if he was looking for a way to back out of them, bow out of them in a respectful way by saying, okay, maybe we'll do skilling up of Americans while we ask non-Americans to come and do jobs inside the nation. But something like this would make him pause. Which nations does he encourage? Whether this will further allow people to manipulate the visa system to enter United States and then continue to perpetrate such crimes or perpetrate religious hatred or fanaticism of any level within the soil, within the borders of America, is something that he will be considering. Beyond that, his policy inside America is going to be installing more National Guards. So there will be more men in uniform patrolling America from Americans who have been given asylum or who have been given nationality just on the basis of the refugee crisis that was happening as part of the open borders policy of Biden administration. So there is going to be more people looking within America, looking at each other with suspicion, looking at a particular community or even a particular nation with suspicion, rather than Americans looking outside to find enemies. So America is now going to be hunting its enemies on its own grounds.
Yes, that will be the change. We will be eyeing that on this channel. Thank you very much, Shruti, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next news as well. Now we stay in South America. Venezuela's aviation authority has said that it has banned multiple